Hello, my name is Tim Kramer and I'm an AEC BIM specialist for Microsol Resources. I'm going to talk to you today about the AutoCAD MEP 2011 subscription tool, DWG Convert. This is something that is included as part of the Subscription Advantage Pack download that has been made available recently on the Autodesk subscription website. Let's take a look at where you can get that download. Once you log into the Autodesk subscription site, you'll notice that there are a list of product enhancements that may or may not include the AutoCAD MEP 2011 Subscription Advantage Pack that you're looking for. So click on the View All Available Product Enhancements link, which will take you to an expanded list. Here I see the Subscription Advantage Pack for AutoCAD MEP 2011. If I click on that link, it will bring me to another page that explains some of what you're getting in the Subscription Advantage Pack. The Subscription Advantage Pack for AutoCAD MEP does in fact include Autodesk Green Building Studio, but what I'm more interested in talking to you about today is the Subscription Advantage Pack for AutoCAD 2011 products. As you can see here, the subscription pack does in fact include various different tools, including the new AutoCAD WS plugin, but again, I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm just going to go ahead and click on the link for the Advantage Pack for AutoCAD 2011 products. Now, once you get to this page, it does go into some detail about the various different tools. So what I'm going to talk about is the DWG Conversion Tool, which allows you to convert DWG files down to older versions in batches if needed, so that you can share those drawings with people who are not on the same version of AutoCAD as you. Notice that there are README files for all the different languages and the downloads for both 32-bit and 64-bit. Once you click on those downloads and install the software, it will show up as a plugin inside of the software. Let me show you. Here I am in AutoCAD MEP 2011, and I've got a 3D model open. At the top, notice that we have a subscription tab as part of the ribbon. If I click on the subscription tab, you'll see an IGS panel as well as a DWG Convert panel. That is what we're going to talk about today. Once I click on the DWG Convert panel, it opens up a dialog box, as you can see here. Now, there may not seem to be that much that's going on with this dialog box, but there are some key features that you need to be aware of. First of all, just simply by opening this dialog box does not assume that you want to convert the file that you happen to have open at this time. You have to come into the Files tree area and click on the button that says Add File and navigate to the location of the file that you want to convert. If I go ahead and select the file, which just happens to be the file that I have open, and I add it to the tree list, notice that there is a plus sign next to the file, and if I expand that, notice that there are external references that are associated with this file. So the nice part is that if you do want to do a conversion, the DWG Convert tool will recognize that there are external references associated with the file and will pick those up as well. However, we're not done. What people tend to miss is the fact that in order to do a conversion properly, you do need to go into the conversion setups and take a look at what's happening in the background. There are some conversion setups by default that are already set up with the expectation that you're going to either convert to a 2000 file format in a folder of sorts. You can convert to a 2004 file format in place, meaning that it will convert that file and put the new file right in the same location that it's already in. Same deal for convert to 2007, it's just a different file format, and then of course the standard that it has. If you hover over any one of these different types of setups, it'll give you a little bit of explanation as to what it's doing, but what I want to show you now is what's really happening in the background. So if I click on Conversion Setups, that opens up the dialog box where it basically gives me the opportunity to either modify the existing or click New to create a new one. I do recommend that you create a new setup that will be named appropriately for the options that you've chosen, but for this exercise I'm just going to click on Modify. Now here's where we get to the root of the matter. In the Modify Conversion Setup dialog box, notice the first thing at the top is the type and location. By default, the standard will create a zip file. If I click on the drop down, notice that I do have the options to in place overwrite files. So if you don't give them a new file name, they're basically going to get replaced with whatever conversion that you create. Then there's the option to create a new folder, a set of files in a folder that you might want to utilize for a temporary holding place, or maybe if you're keeping track of all the files that you've converted and shared with a client or with a customer or someone else that you're collaborating with, you'll be able to keep everything in a separate set of folders. You can also create a self-extracting executable file, which basically is a zip file that you can send to somebody, and when they double click on the file, it will automatically unzip all of the files for them. And then there is the default that I mentioned earlier, which is the zip. Looking at this further, we have a file format. Now, under the file format, we have various different types. Notice that you can save back all the way to AutoCAD R14 if needed, and you can save to AutoCAD 2000, 2004, 2007, as well as 2010. Now, if you wanted to save all of your files to a folder, we can choose that folder here. Notice that the default is set up automatically for users, T-Crane, or documents. If I click on the ellipsis button next to that drop down, I can go ahead and navigate to a new location if I so choose. As far as a conversion file name, the software will prompt you for a file name, gives you the option of overwriting if necessary or incrementing the file name if necessary. Then there's path options. You can use an organized folder structure such as the one that's given to you as default. Again, you can click on the ellipsis button to go to a new location, and as well you can place all files in one folder, which will no longer use the organized folder structure, and then you can also keep files and folders as is. I'm just going to go ahead and use the default selection here. Here on the right we have some options that are worth talking about. You can convert digitally signed files if you happen to be dealing with anything of that sort. You can also check and fix errors. That's something that I do recommend, because what this is doing is basically performing an audit in the background during the conversion process to make sure that your file's integrity is maintained, and if there are any errors in the file, it will be cleaned up and fixed during the conversion process so that you don't send a converted file to somebody that's got problems. Setting the default plotter to none, that can potentially be a good idea if you want to make sure that the new files don't have any preset plotter settings. And then binding external references. As I showed you earlier, there are external references associated with this particular file that I chose. So what do you want to do with those? Do you want to bind those external references? If so, which option do you want to use? The bind or the insert option. You can also add a password if you like to. And then another one that I like to do is to purge the drawings. And then we can also replace page setups. If you click on that option, you get this list which will give you a list of page setups that you can choose from, or you can browse to if you wanted to overwrite the page setup that was already associated with this file. I'm not going to worry about that. So when I close out of this, whatever changes I've made have just been made to the standard conversion setup. Once I click on the convert button, it's going to bring up a dialog box prompting me to place a zip file in some location that I'm going to specify. So once I click on the save button, what happens next is AutoCAD opens all of the files individually and converts them. That means the host file and all of the external references. It's opening all of these files in the background, doing a drawing convert and saving those files out separately, and then creating the zip file that's going to include all these files in one file. So it's pretty seamless, it's pretty straightforward. I hope this has been an informative video and something that you will take advantage of going forward with your AutoCAD MEP software.